Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Boundaries podcast, where the facts are facts and opinions hurt people's feelings. Right now, we have a very special guest with us. Going to be performing live at South by Southwest the weekend of March 11th and 12th. So all our Texas and local listeners, please come out to the Longhorn Daiquiri, show some love. We got our boy Trey Dilly with us.
What's up, y'all?
What up? What up?
Nine.
So Trey, tell us a little bit about how you got into music and what makes you different from anybody else right now.
All right, so it all started when I was like 7, 8 years old. I always listened to Sammy and a little Bow Wow at that time. And my brother, he was doing music, so I told him I was trying to do it, and he told me only way I was gonna be able to is if I start writing. And so I started writing. I did a song with him, and everything just went from there.
Okay, and what put you in a position to be at South by Southwest this year?
So one of my friends, it was just like reposting the stuff when it first got posted out saying he got a venue. So I went on ahead, added him, and I went on ahead and took this chance.
Okay. And what would you say? So you said you grew up pretty much listening to Sammy and Bow Wow. So would you say that's your style now, or what influences you now?
Right now, what influenced me is just the simple fact of, basically things I've been through. Like back then, listening to them, Sammy, Bow Wow, Neo, listening to their style of music, it helped formed me. But just what I've been through, relationships, family wise, that's what molds my music.
Okay. So when our listeners come out to you said Longhorn what?
Longhorn Daiquiri.
Longhorn Daiquiri. I ain't never heard of that one. Where is that? Like, what's the location? Like, what's the exact time? Do you have that information?
I don't have it. I just know.
Oh, okay,
Longhorn Daiquiri.
because I never heard of it. Yeah. So if they come out to Longhorn Daiquiri, what music should they expect to hear? Like, you have any singles popping right now? What should they be looking forward to?
Well, on Valentine's Day, I did just drop a new song. It's titled Overtime. It's basically saying like the growth of me and my girlfriend and things that I've done to like that to put us in better situations. And then I have another song that I'm performing that's titled One Time, and that's kind of the opposite. Is basically saying how I only want just one night with a girl. If it go further than this, if it go further than this, it do. But for right now, this is this is all I want. But my other music, it's about glorifying women. It's about like basically it's all about being you and being confident in who you are. Basically.
Okay. And how many shows you have that weekend?
Oh, well, you said songs?
No, how many shows do you have South by Southwest weekend?
Oh, well, this will be my first one. I'm coming out from Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champs.
It would be like Kansas City, Kansas. Yeah. It would be like Kansas City, Kansas, St. Louis. Nah. This is from Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh yeah, you coming to ways then.
Yeah.
I honestly hope you're able to perform more than once. If I was you, I'd probably try to get some more gigs because me and being Texans, we've been to South by Southwest a few times and it's good exposure. And you definitely want to try to see if you can get on your grind and get more spots open. And that way, it gives our listeners a better opportunity to see you. Because when you're in South by Southwest, most people are doing so much that just being able to hit that one spot that one time, you might miss out. But for the most part, I mean, I wish you well.
Yeah, thank you. But I know I'm performing on the 12th, and what's crazy is we driving out there on the 10th, making it there the morning of the 11th. So, if I can, I'm gonna see if I can get up there, do a few songs. Like I said, the songs that I just dropped, and a few that haven't been released. And then on the 12th is when I'm gonna do, the songs that I already have pre-mixed.
Okay,
Okay.
so if there was one track you would tell a new listener to go listen to that would make them fall in love with your catalog, what song would that be?
Honestly, I will have to go with the song off of my album, Trey Daily 20. It's streaming everywhere, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, and it's even on TikTok. But the song I would say is Insomnia. And
Okay.
I, I would say Insomnia because, it's like, it has a nice little vibe to where, even from when it starts, you get the feeling like, okay. And then, it's basically me talking about this girl that I've been with for so long finally leaving, and I just can't cope with her being gone, just to find out, things literally is not going the way that I'm picturing it should be in my head. So, yeah.
Insomnia it is. All right, man. Tell them where they can find you. Plug your socials.
Uh, Snapchat, Trey Dilly, Trey Dilly 52, Instagram, Trey Dilly 20, Twitter, Trey Dilly 1, and on YouTube, just Trey Dilly.
How do you spell that?
TREDILLY.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Appreciate
you
that.
have it. Trey Dilly, South by Southwest, March 12th for sure. But he's getting there the morning of March 11th, and he gonna make something shake. We appreciate you for joining us, and good luck with the show, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Alrighty, man. Peace.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Boundaries podcast, where the facts are facts and opinions hurt people's feelings. As always, please remember to rate and review us on the Apple Podcast app, on Google Play, on SoundCloud. I still don't know what you do on Spotify, but whatever it is that you do on Spotify, please go and do that. It's Welly Funzarelli. It's Jay.
Sir.
It's Black History Month. I don't know. I hadn't said that all month, so I figured, I just throw it out there.
Nah, you need to just go ahead and start this episode over, bro. We don't even want to recognize that it's Black History Month right now. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
We messed up
Nigga out
already?
here getting knocked. We messed up yet. Last night we messed up. Nigga got knocked out by a freaking gypsy.
I say we messed up already, and here we are on the 23rd. Say, he was not ready for that fight.
I didn't like the way he went into the fight on Twitter, like just like doing a lot of back and forth like a child. I thought it was kind of corny. I mean, I know that I know we live in the social media age where, the back and forth banter is expected between these fighters, and I just feel like it's just better when they do it, in their weigh-ins. But I just really thought it was corny of him to be like posting memes about how he was gonna knock him out. I haven't been to his page today to see if he deleted that shit, but I'm pretty sure he gonna stand by what he say. I mean, Deontay Wilder is still an amazing fighter. It's just that, man, you're going up against a different breed of a guy. You're dealing with a guy that's what did they call him? They were like, he's the 1989 Corvette with not a lot of miles. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, yeah, he may be an old model, but the dude still has a lot of go in him. Don't let the size fool you. Like the dude is rock hard. He's a solid dude. And I always remember the fact that from the last fight when he got knocked down, he got up like the Undertaker, like the dude. I mean, like, these gypsies ain't no punks, man. Like that's just bottom line. But yeah, man. All jokes aside, that's not a good memory for Black History Month. I'm glad it's almost over.
I was telling Ed earlier. I was like, Fury was like 40 pounds heavier than Wilder. And you could tell that he used that. He would just lean on him. He'd put him in a headlock and just drop his weight on him. And I said, that wears on you, especially with all the moving that you're doing. And you lean. And we both know that from playing basketball. When you're trying to guard somebody that's bigger than you and they just keep putting that weight on you, keep leaning on you, it wears on you because it keeps your body tense at the whole time. So it's like that mixed with he couldn't get that haymaker that he really wanted to get off to end the fight because if he doesn't have that haymaker TKO, then it's kind of like, or that haymaker knockout, it's kind of like, you got to get down to these fundamentals.
That shit is crazy. I know Wilder is 254 and Wilder is 213 and Fury is 254. So yeah, that's yeah. But hey, man, it is what it is. it is what it is. Anthony Joshua gonna come in at about 235, 240. So if weight is an issue for Wilder, then shit, he might have to get his weight up. Like that's all I can think of. For that weight, I think that's what he weighs. If that's the weight he does weigh, then he wears it very well.
I thought they said,
but he also
Fury was like 270, right? And Wilder was 230ish.
Okay, I mean that might be what it is. I when you look at these weigh-ins online, they go up and down. These dudes, that's what they do. Wilder definitely looks more than 213. So.
Oh yeah, he's definitely more.
But either way, yeah. But I'm guessing that's their weight when they're just like in the off season, maybe just chilling, which is still wild. I mean, Wilder is a big motherfucker, though. That's for sure. But he got knocked down like he was small last night.
Boy, that fight should have ended like 2 or 3 rounds before it did. I was like, he's out there dazed and confused. Like, he had no business still being in there. I was like, y'all should have got him up out of there earlier.
God. It is what it is, man. But either way, man, how's your weekend going besides that? Well, basically... hopefully by this time most people heard Jay Speaks, the solo episode that you dropped. You dropped like Beyonce on us in the middle of the night. It gave us a surprise album. But what inspired that?
Jay Speaks is brought to you by Crown Royal, the official drink of the No Boundaries podcast. But
oh wow.
But I was just sitting here thinking, and it was just a realization of that people, and don't get me wrong, everybody uses people at a certain point in time in their life. I can't sit here and say I've never used anybody. I can't sit here and say that I haven't been used. But I realize that people will use you for specific reasons. And you might come to these people and you might present yourself in a way that's like, okay, I'm here for this said reason. As my example, oh yeah, I'm here to be your friend. But also, hey, I have these boyfriend traits that you're looking for as well. And when you get to that point, he's like, oh yeah, cool. I'm your shoulder to cry on. I listen to you. I support you. I do all this. But hey, I also want to be intimate with you and see if we can build a relationship with you. And a lot of, whether it be men or women, they'll sit there and they'll be like, nah, that's just my homeboy. That's my homegirl. I'm just going to consistently tell him tell her how these other women or other men over here fucking over on me, while I have this good person here, quote unquote good person, that's carrying all the traits that I do want, but I'm just going to continue to mess with other people because I put this person in a box and I only expect friendship out of them. So I'm going to get all the what's a good way to put it? I'm going to get all the attention and I'm going to get all the mental.
It's emotional support.
Yeah, I'm going to get the mental and emotional support from this person, but I'm going to give all the physical to this other person.
Yeah, they just use it as an emotional tampon. That's basically what it is. I mean, I remember not too long ago on Twitter, I put up a post that made somebody a little bit annoyed, but I saw that this woman, Amy from Christian VIP Singles, she was like, I'm so ready for Mr. Right. I've had some really bad experiences dating men who were just no good for me, but I'm finally ready to settle down with a nice guy. And I mean, me just being who I am, I'm like, well, to me, I think when women say I'm ready to settle down with a nice guy, I think that's just translation for I'm done with dealing with the bad boy alpha males and I'm ready to, get with a beta male simp. Like that. I'm ready to get with somebody that is not gonna call me out on my bullshit. I'm ready to get with somebody that is gonna consistently, be at my feet I want somebody that's going to consistently be an emotional tampon. Like that's what they seek when they start saying I want the nice guy, because in that same breath as they say, I want the nice guy, it's a bunch of women out here that just say, oh well, the nice guy is the nice guy. Oh, that's just a guy that's just secretly wants the ass, and he's just being incognito for the main purpose of basically trying to manipulate the situation. And in 4 to 6 months, who he is really going to come out. So a lot of women don't even really believe there's a nice guy. So it's just a wild phenomenon to me. But the reality is, in my opinion, I do not believe, as crazy as it sounds, I don't believe people are as stupid as they claim to be. I
Not at
believe
all.
that after a while, you're dating the bad boy, you're dating the more riskier guy. You're doing it on purpose. It's not something that you're doing on accident. You're not moderately retarded. You're not blind. You're able to discern the difference between somebody that is boring and somebody that is adventurous. And I do believe that when women are younger and they're more they have more energy, then to me that's when they have time for the games. That's when they have time for the adventurous guy. When women are starting to lose energy, their knees are starting to hurt. They can't twerk like Megan no more. That's when they want to settle down. That's when they want to settle down, and they get the nice guy that they can pretty much tell when the guy can move. Like, oh, I can tell you when to move now, and because that's what the nice guy is more prone to do. The nice guy is more prone to kind of not be very argumentative or be combative. Like that's how I see it, and that's not a bad thing. It's just sad that we live in a world where the nice guy gets taken advantage of, or the nice guy is simply not believed because they like, oh, he just wants my ass, but he was giving it to these bad guys. like, come on.
And not to even solo out women, because I see men do it all the time, especially in this day and age when you see this local social media celebrity that's always on and popping, and they get the thousands of likes, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to get her, and as men, we'll chase that clout and we'll chase that person. While and to me, that is the quote unquote bad girl that men are seeking, while you have the good girl or the nice one that you fall back on. But I think the difference between men and women is that men are way older when they finally say, all right, now I'm finna fall back. Some men, I'm not gonna say all, but some men are way older when they're like, okay, now let me go to the nice girl after I've probably messed her over 4, 5, 6 times, because I go to her when I'm in between dealing with these bad chicks, or the ones that I'm only there because she's super sexy or she has this strong following. And so I mess with her until she gets tired of me because she was only using me for whatever purpose it was. And then I go back to the nice girl, and I eventually settle with her after however many years, or I just milk her for a little bit until I get back on my feet and go do the thing again, who the popular chick is.
Okay, for the audience, I just I kind of feel like people kind of have an idea of who the bad boy is. Like I could give you like once again I could tell you somebody like maybe Will Smith in Bad Boys was probably more of the alpha male bad guy, and then Martin Lawrence is obviously he's the family man, and he's the more not even necessarily beta male, but he's probably the more nice guy because he settled down and had the family, and he seems a lot more responsible and reasonable. And if I'm just going to put archetypes out there for the bad guy or in the good guy per se, I got to ask you, like, so what is this nice girl? Because a minute ago you said guys will go for the insta thought or the more popular local celebrity, and they'll put the nice guy, the nice girl to the side. But what's a nice girl? How do you define that?
I define her to be similar to the same way we define the nice guy. Somebody who doesn't require a whole lot of attention from random people that they don't know. Somebody that's just genuinely cares about you. Whether they have some benefit out of it or not, they really don't have an ulterior motive. Although, like as I mentioned earlier, the guy that's the friend in the friend zone, but it's like, hey, I would like to be intimate with you too, but I also care about your well being. I'm your shoulder to cry on. I think those roles are interchangeable. That nice guy and that nice girl, I think they run in the same pack.
Hey, I gotta disagree with you on that one, bro. Like, I ain't never met that type of woman in my life.
I
I
have.
haven't.
I
Like,
have.
like not that simple. Like, not that simple. Okay, but with that being said, I feel like there's something missing. Then I feel like there's something about this woman that a man could. Because what you're saying is that this nice girl is, from a personality perspective, is a nice girl, right? Because for me, I feel like the nice guy can have it all. I feel like the nice guy could be attractive. I feel like the nice guy could be, he could be like the shoulder to lean on. I feel like he could check all the boxes. But I think the thing that's not interchangeable, I think that the good guy is probably a little bit more boring than the bad guy. I think the bad guy is more adventurous and probably a little bit more inconsistent. I feel like if you're putting, I think, and once again, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just think this is just my experience and that's your experience. I think that when most dudes, if they put a woman in the friend zone, a lot of the time, it's a woman that they're not even really attracted to. Like really attracted to, because I feel like that's the difference between the popular Instagram chick and then this random homegirl. I feel like the random homegirl a lot of times is just an average looking girl that is not appealing off top. And then the only reason they really fuck with them is because maybe it's longevity in a relationship. Because how many men out there are seeking platonic female relationships? Like they're going out of their way for that.
I find that to be few and far between. I think there are a lot of men that have platonic female relationships, but I don't think they just went out and sought them. Yeah, I think you just interacted with somebody just on an arm's length basis until it's like, oh yeah, she's cool. That just happened to be my friend, because I never really got it so in depth that, okay, now that I'm in this inner circle of her aura, that let me start shooting. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, in passing, you just kind of became friends and ended up being in a friend zone or in a platonic friendship. But to me, with the nice girl, I feel like she can have it all. But I feel like kind of with the nice guy that they're more focused on things other than getting their rocks off. They might value their careers more. They might have families that they take care of. They have a different value set than to just be out on the scene. And I think, as you mentioned with the nice guy, I think the nice girl's a little more boring too. And I liken that to, she might have your regular 9 to 5 and does overtime. She's not turning up every weekend. She's more of a stable person in an age where stability isn't too common.
And I agree with you there. And that's in that same thought. My question, I feel like that's going to probably be aimed at a certain age group. Because in my experience in the last 10 years, once again, that's why I talked about women losing energy. I feel like the nice girl, to a degree, is probably going to be a chick that's probably crossed that 30 line. She's tired. I feel like most young women are pretty, and this is only speaking on my experiences, like in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, dealing with women that are like between like 26 and 32, and obviously those women have gotten older. I don't know what a lot of women that are 26 and under are doing right now, because that's a different generation. They may be doing something different. But in the last 4 or 5 years, just peeping game through social media and just going out and about and observing it, I feel like when women are young, they take advantage of their energy. So to find that woman that's just chill, that, put it like this, most of the women I come across that call themselves homebodies, like I hear that so much. And then the same woman that's calling herself a homebody, she ain't never at home. I'm just trying to figure out like how you a homebody but you ain't never at home. And I think that to say and that's why I feel like when you say it's interchangeable, when I sit here and think about it, I'm like, yeah, you could that may be right, because at the same time I do believe that females know how to be chameleons when it comes to portraying that image of being the nice girl, because you'll have that same woman that's being patient in the friend zone, and at the same time she's waiting for you to slip up, slip up. Because women, I see this on social media all the time. Women always be like, oh, these dudes want to do relationship stuff, but they don't want to commit. This will always be my argument against that. I do feel like men have a tendency to they'll test some shit out. They'll be like, okay, well, let's see how far she's gonna let me go without committing, because they may be a sexual attraction there, there may be something there, but let me see how far it's gonna go. I can go with, without her tripping on the fact that I'm not willing to commit. So once the commitment no longer takes place, and a dude's like, well, shit, I'm not sure. I don't want more. I just do the friends with benefits thing, because I know people listening to this, they're probably gonna think like, well, what about friends with benefits? A lot of times, friends with benefits only goes as far as the woman allows it, because once the woman says, I'm not participating in this anymore, it stops. Unless you're dealing with a rapist. But I'm just saying, once a woman says, I'm not participating in friends with benefits anymore, they drop the benefits title, and can y'all remain friends? Some people can, but in that reality is, once you get to that point and that guy is still dealing with you, even though he has a sexual attraction to you, I think in that scenario, what happens is, once you basically failed the shit test, the guy doesn't see any worth in you anymore. He's like, well, you can stick around as long as you want to. You can pretend we're friends, but the reality is, we were just a failed situationship. That's how situationships come about. Because once again, I do believe that once a woman gets into a friends with benefits situation, if she's not able to call it out, she's not ballsy enough to call it out, then it's only going to go as far as she lets it. Like, men are going to attempt to not commit, because there's so much benefit in not committing. Like you said, men, to be honest with you, men have time. Well, men feel like they have time, so they'll wait till they're closer to 40 to be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna settle down. I mean, it's the same as a woman getting into her 30s and be like, damn, I'm only getting older. If I want to settle down, have a family, I better get on my shit. That's why I say women in their 20s tend to have more of a propensity to be like, you know what, I'm gonna fuck around. I'm energetic right now. I can do what I want. I'm still young and fine. I ain't mad at them. It's like, I'm not mad at anybody for realizing that at the end of the day, we all have sort of a biological clock, whether it's an internal biological clock that's producing eggs, or a biological clock that says, well, you finna go bald, your hairline's finna recede, and you're not gonna look as attractive as you are that when you're 29, 30, 32.
So whatever. You better get out now.
So everybody has that moment. I mean, everybody has a wall. Like, that's just a reality. The wall doesn't just apply to women.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're just going about your life in a natural state and you're not doing anything to expand the expiration date, then your wall is going to come a lot faster. Because I see a lot of 30-year-old women right now that look like they damn near 40, and that's based on the lifestyles that they live in right now are not healthy. Same thing with men too.
I've seen a lot of people that are 35 and they make 35 look mid 40s instead of closer to that 29, 30 range. Like, they're pushing up.
And that's why. Go ahead.
And before we get completely off that, like with the whole nice guy, nice girl thing, a lot of the times it's recognized from an early standpoint, and that's, to me, when a lot of the monkey branching happens. Because this will probably be one of those parts where I play some hold music over it, but I think that's a lot of the stuff that they take from the nice guy, and it's like, okay, shoot, he's nice, let me put him on this branch, and I'm gonna sit him on this branch, and I'm gonna come to him when I get done thoughting about it.
Because, to summarize what you said, you in the beginning of a relationship, once the guy shows that he's willing to commit already, that's danger. That's like, oh, for that guy, for that woman, that's you have commitment. You somewhat have a verbal commitment. You have a contract at hand. You're like, oh, bam, I got something that I can rely on. Okay, like you said, let me set him on this branch because I'm still young, fertile, and fine, and I can get out here and do what I want. And guess what? This dude over here that's already willing to commit, he's basically telling me I could gain 30 more pounds, and I'm still gonna be here, because that's what unconditional love is. Once you looking at a woman and you're like, man, I love everything about you, flaws and all, then that means that a woman at that point, she knows in her head, that obviously
I
I'm gonna
can do
have
no
kids, I'm
wrong.
gonna get fat.
Yeah, I can do no wrong.
Exactly. So that's the danger in being a nice guy, low key. So now, since we're still on this topic, I'm looking at if a guy gets with a woman, what is the sign that she is a nice girl from the jump?
Now, see, that is a good question because I've never just seen a woman and come to the conclusion that she's a nice girl. Like
You ain't gotta put the whole music on me. I got one for you.
It's taken some time to get to know them for me. Like, okay, yeah, she's nice, she's cool. Like, and that might just be based off my past traumas. It's like, let me approach everything with a grain of salt. But I've never just been able to look at somebody and eyeball them or hold, a short conversation. Be like, oh yeah, you're a nice girl.
In the last 5 years, I think the nicest quality I've seen in most women I would consider nice is the fact that I think, and it's happened one time to me in 5 years, and they know who they are. I can go out with them. I pay for my shit. They pay for theirs. They pay for theirs. That's the nicest thing that most women could do now. But other than that, I'm sorry. I think, and ladies, you could argue this all day. Most guys, if they get with you, and within that first week of meeting you, they smash. I'm sorry, you're not finna be in a nice girl category. It's just bottom line. It's not happening. It's just not happening because I don't think that any reasonable guy is looking at this girl like, oh, she's such a nice girl. No, he's looking at it like, oh, this is an easy piece of ass. Bet I'm gonna take advantage. Men are opportunists, so therefore, I can't really think of any instances where I could really just deal with a woman and think, oh, this is a nice girl, like because the most I'm looking at niceness through actions. So
yes.
If their actions show me, if their actions show me that they're fair, cool. But for me, I think they're gonna have to show me some discipline too. And I know people argue it down like, oh, it doesn't matter if a woman makes you wait 6 months. But at the same time, I'm not putting a woman that I sleep with in the first couple of days in the same category as somebody that made me wait 6 months. I'm sorry. I think most men are gonna see a different respect level in that. So if a dude get with you and he been dealing with you for years and years and he can't get none and he's still sticking around, I don't know where his mind is at. Maybe he's not interested. Maybe he just knows that you're not interested. Maybe this is a true platonic friendship. But if a dude trying to get that ass and he ain't getting it within 3 or 4 months, I don't think the guy gonna last past 2 months. If his main intention is to get that ass and he don't get it within 6 weeks, I think most guys are gonna bounce. And I'm concrete on that. I'm serious. But if a dude's really not interested, like if a dude's really not interested in the sense of, yeah, I'm trying to smash, but at the same time she is cool as shit, so it is what it is. I'll settle for being a friend. That's still only gonna last so long. Because I've been in that position too. Like I'm like, well, I've been dealing with a chick, okay, I've been dealing with her 4 or 5 months. I made maybe one attempt in 4 or 5 months. She ain't trying to give it up. I bet I should just be one of those chicks that, if she texts me, she texts me. If she don't, she don't. It is what it is. But and once again, I always consider myself as like, I don't even consider it the friend zone because I don't look at being friends with a woman as a bad thing. I just think that once again, it's sort of like dangling the carrot. Like if we're both here and we're both attracted to each other, what are we waiting on? Especially if our personalities click, if everything is clicking, what are we doing? Unless she's still stuck on an ex, or unless she's still just on some bullshit, and she still hurt about something. Like, what are we doing?
I look at that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say once again, it's really hard for me to pinpoint what makes a nice girl. Like you said, I definitely could see why a person could be a nice guy because I'm never gonna use a woman as an emotional tampon.
To me, I feel like, and I think I might have said this before on the episode. My platonic female friends, I swear I haven't been drinking today. My platonic female friends, I treat them like my platonic. No, that's gonna come out way wrong. I treat them just like my guy friends. Like it's my guy friends. Like, yeah, I know I have some guy friends that do some shady shit, but them still my boys. So when it comes to my platonic friends that are females, it's kind of like I look at them and it's like, oh, I know how you move when dealing with men that you want to be intimate with or you want to date, and I don't respect that, and I don't want to be like that. So yeah, we cool based off other characteristics that you have, but as far as trying to be intimate with you or that, nah, I see how you move, and I'm not about that life.
Straight up, man. I had to have this to the conversation with my son the other day, about STDs, bro. Like, like it is what it is. I mean, niggas out here wilding, but at the same time, like, if I see a female out here wilding like that, because I've heard too many stories about women that are just in the mood and they ain't asking nobody about a condom. Like, I've heard too many stories about that, witnessed it with my own eyes, and I'm just like, y'all out here moving viciously. Like, y'all out here moving with no concern for reality
at all.
If I see a woman moving, like that, I'm the same mindset you in. It's like, well, shit, you cool and all, but I see the way you move, so I'm gonna have to keep you at arm's length because I don't know what you got. like straight up, if you out there just on a carousel like that, I don't believe. I know men, and I know if a man ain't got the rubber on him, a lot of them just gonna be like, fuck it. They willing to risk it all.
I know men, and a lot of them will have the rubber on them and will still say fuck it.
Hey, it is what it is. And once again, if you got that type of bond with a woman, all right, bet y'all been dealing with each other for a while. Y'all get to that level, cool. But once again, I've heard one night stand situations. I just seen it all, bro. Like, the shit wild out here. So once again, I agree with you. This chick can be cool as hell, but if she out there moving like that, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm gonna use my common sense. I'm not finna be. You're not finna hop off the carousel and then hop to me and think I'm finna treat you with the utmost respect. Nah, we just gonna keep this friendship thing going, and you can continue doing what you're doing.
Especially if I know that you've been on this carousel. Like, I'm not. No, you're not just gonna jump off and jump on me. And now I gotta be all committed. And you've been, especially if I haven't been on the vagina carousel. If I just been cooling,
straight up.
Like, if I look up, oh, I'm a hoe, she a hoe. Okay, I can understand that. But if I've been chilling and you've been wilding, no. And I'll probably.
I think that needs to be clear though. Go ahead, say that again.
And I'll probably put this on hold too, but
I don't know. I mean, I guess guys are getting to the point where since they're becoming so open and they're supposed to be vulnerable, once again, women are like standing in line thinking, okay, well, if he needs to use me as an emotional tampon or use me as a shoulder to lean on, I'm here. But I'm sorry, I don't think that your average man is looking at a woman for a shoulder to lean on outside of his girlfriend or his wife. I mean, if y'all just cool, this is why my relationships with women are the way they are, because even though a woman calls me a friend, let's just say I'm out of town, right? And I bump, let's just say I'm a homegirl of mine that's from out of town. She comes into town and she needs somewhere to stay, and she happens to stay with me for a day or two. And while I'm there, obviously we're just friends, and I say, hey, I got a homegirl coming through, I'm just giving you a heads up. This homegirl's coming through. It's a friends with benefit situation. All right, bet. 10 times out of 10, that girl that's masquerading as a friend is gonna get pissed off.
Yeah.
It's just a reality, because that's how fickle I think that this platonic friendship thing with women is. Because I say that to say, if my homeboy come through for the weekend. And I tell my homeboy, I was like, "Oh, Jay, if I come visit you in Charlotte, and then you tell me you got some hype coming through, I'm gonna sit in the living room about my business. I don't care. I'm not gonna get jealous and be like, oh man, Jay,
you gonna get on that 2K, huh? I'm like, well, let me play some 2K.
Bro, I'm gonna get on that 2K. I'm gonna probably go that fire stick and mind my business, because that's a real platonic friendship. I'm not getting in the way of something that you have established with another woman. Or with another person in general. Even if you was to tell me a homeboy was coming through, like, I'm not gonna be tripping like your homeboy come through. I mean, Obviously, you ain't on the homosexual stuff. So your homeboy come through, probably finna tell us, hey, man, these the spots y'all need to go to. We all link up. You know what I'm saying? But you could do that with guys. You can't do that with women.
Even if I was
the woman is gay.
Even if I'm hanging out with a platonic friend at her house, she say, "Oh, I got something coming through." I'm gonna make myself scarce.
Oh,
let me get out the way.
That's the double standard. That's the
let
double
me get
standard.
out the way. I ain't finna kill your vibe.
You know what's funny? I just thought about it. I actually been through that before because it was a long time ago, but I think it was mainly on the lines of us almost being family, so it was a lot easier. And once again, there was no attraction between us. So when she told me that a guy was coming through, shit, I just met, like you said, I made myself scarce only because I didn't want to make the guy uncomfortable.
Exactly.
I'm like, shit, this ain't my ass. I'm not touching her. She just giving me a free spot to stay at, and it is what it is. I'm not finna mess up what she has, but I'm telling you, and this is for the gentlemen listening out there, because I know the gentlemen listening out there know what I'm talking about. And there's plenty eye rolls gonna be coming with this, but I know it. Like, I know that's how women react to when you have other female friends. Shit, I done heard women get mad at the fact that they homegirls got other best friends. like seriously, like, grow up. So once again, man, the relationship dynamic between men and women, people still try to make it seem like, you know, things have changed. Like, no, people just be talking. Like, shit is still pretty much how it was in the 90s and 80s and early 2000s. Everybody just be on some I'm gonna say this because it sound good shit. That's what everybody on these days.
Pretty much, it's like, oh, I wanna be out here like, oh, I'm well rounded and this, that, and the other. Hey, you're not. I told somebody the other day, it's like, oh, adulting is hard. It's like, nobody's really an adult. You're just a child trying stuff at an older age for the first time. That's it. That's why you get
manual.
There's no manual. That's why you get so much advice from people that's been through it already. But you going through it for the first time, or even if you're going through it for the 5th time with the same person or the same situation, there's still no manual. What is it? God, who was that said, I didn't fail so many times. I only found the wrong way so many times. I've messed that quote up, but it's kind of like, that's how it is. You know, it's like, this is the wrong way to do it. Let me try to do it again, but I'm going to do it in a different way. If I want it bad enough, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it a different way.
Yeah. I mean, that's damn near the relationship model these days. And once again, I that's why I believe people know exactly what they're doing. A lot of women and a lot of men, they go for the same girl or the same boy, and they just hope that it's gonna be a different personality this time. Like, they'll go for the same type, and they'll be like, oh, hopefully it's a different personality this time. But it'd be the same personality. It's just a different body per se. It's like, no, fam, you may have to rethink everything you're doing because your type is fatal for you. Your type doesn't work. It is what it is. It's freaking hilarious, man. But to roll all this together as far as the nice girl, nice guy thing, I'm still on the fence about what makes a nice girl, because once again, like I said, when you're categorizing somebody as nice or even good, I'm still basing all that on action. And knowing how your typical male thinks, I hate to say it, man, like, I almost feel like an overly nice girl is probably thinking that if she's giving it up fast that she's being nice, and that's probably like the worst thing you could do. And I feel like a guy that's being overly nice and he's settling for being that shoulder to cry on, and he's not getting anything reciprocated out of the equation, meaning what happens when he comes to her to be a shoulder to cry on and she's not anywhere to be found. Like, and I think a lot of guys go through that. A lot of guys are there playing the shoulder to cry on, and they come back to the woman, and the woman is just like, oh, you know, well, I'm on the phone with my ex right now trying to make things work. I hope things are good with you. Bye. Like,
they hit you with some dry. Oh, that sucks.
Dog, I seen a meme. It is, matter of fact, I'm gonna read it. I don't care. It was funny, man. Give me a second. Hope I can find it. Oh, there it goes. As I was reading this one meme, it says, Men, it's this guy. He's sitting next to, I guess it's a chick that he's trying to holler at or whatever. And I guess they're like in the gym. And in the first frame, it's like men need to be more open with their feelings. We can end toxic masculinity. That is killing men. And then the guy in the second frame says, okay, well, I've been feeling depressed and anxious about my status at work. Furthermore, I'm worried about balding and this lump on my, and it just goes question, it just goes dot dot dot, and in the next frame she disappeared. Cause she ain't trying to hear that shit.
You don't want like,
that. You know, like what is? I mean, and obviously there's gonna be women out there talking about, well, we ain't all like that. It happens enough. Like I've witnessed it, and it's like memes. A lot of these memes, yeah, they're funny, but these memes be hella relatable. Like these memes have just come out of the fucking air. These memes are hella relatable these days, and that's reality. Women don't be trying to hear that shit. Because at the end of the day, they're not really used to it. They don't even know what to say.
It sounds all well and good until when it's like, okay, I need you to open up and be vulnerable. And then it's about some shit that doesn't have to do with them. When I'm opening up and being vulnerable about my own personal insecurities or how my childhood has affected me in adulthood or how the relationship I seen my parents have affects the relationship that I have, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, you know, when they say, well, you need to open up to me, they want to hear, well, you know, you're the only woman that I've ever thought about marrying and having kids with. And it scares me to think that if this were to fail, I would be, you know, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear some kind of worship of them. They don't want to hear who you truly are.
Yeah. Like I said, men and women, they emote differently. We express emotions differently. And the fact of the matter is, we keep trying to change that in a society, and it's just becoming a disaster. I'm going to continue to be who I am. I'm not going to listen to a woman telling me this is how I need to express myself. No, I need to express myself how I need to express myself. I'm going to express myself in a way that's healthy for me. You express yourself in a way that's healthy for you, and you leave it alone. If you can't handle the way I express myself, then leave me alone. I think that society has it's almost like it's very hard for the society to just leave things alone that don't pertain to them. Everybody is so in what you said you gonna run your campaign on if you ran for president.
Who the fuck cares?
No, you said minding my own business. So shit.
That one. Like, hey, I got a couple of them.
He was like, I'm just mind my business, and I think we just don't know how to mind our business anymore. And it's like, I can stop talking to a person just based off the fact that I feel like this relationship isn't going anywhere, and they feel like I hate them. It's like, no, I know what's good for me. You know, like everybody's looking at it like, oh, you're canceling people, you're blocking people. Like, no, it's 2020. People feel like they're entitled to access to everybody. Like, you're not entitled to access to me. I don't care who our mutual friends are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that is getting to the point where people are becoming more mentally unhealthy based off the fact that they think that they deserve access to everybody. You don't deserve access to everybody. You're not entitled to access to everybody. So therefore, when somebody realizes that you're not good for them, they have the right to cut you off. There doesn't really need to be a long, drawn-out explanation. You don't always need closure. Closure, to an extent, is a damn near a myth. Like, neither one of you, both of y'all are not going to simultaneously walk away from the situation feeling the same exact way anyway.
No, never. And it's always gonna be a back and forth with you. It's gonna be an inner battle between both of you, whether you left for a good reason or whether you left for a reason that neither one of you understand. You're gonna face that internal battle, and one person might be okay with it, and another one may not, and then that might flip and flop. It really just depends on which day it is, honestly, because that's how feelings come, and that's why I tell people who say they're feeling sad, hey, you gotta embrace that. Because if you're feeling sad, you got to embrace it and know why you're sad. Because if you don't know, then it's just going to keep coming back. I'm sad because I missed this person. Or I'm sad because it ended like this. Or I'm sad because I did something wrong. You have to embrace those feelings, because if you don't, they keep coming back and they never come with an answer. So you will never understand yourself. People will say, oh, I'm trying to suppress this feeling. You know, I'm not trying to experience it. I'm not trying to. You gotta let yourself have that moment and say, okay, this moment came, I had it, now I gotta let it go.
I wish it was that simple. I mean, it's easier said than done. I guess that's what you say in that scenario. I mean, I still think the whole dynamic between us all. It could be a lot simpler if people just got off the bullshit. I think social media is just that variable that just came through in the last 10, 15 years that just complicated things that were already complicated. And now we're just constantly at a freaking war with each other. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But either way, man. I didn't even know we were going to talk about, the nice guy, nice girl thing, but I guess that's actually a Reddit. That's actually a pretty good Reddit sub. I think it's called Nice Girls. It's hilarious, man, because on the thread, like it's messed up because you'll see and it's funny, this just came to my mind. You'll see some genuine things that you feel like, okay, a girl will say something, and then it's like, well, that was a nice action. And then at the end of the day, you still got to realize who you're being nice to. Because once again, we already know this. We live in a world where everybody's not just kind by default. So if you're dealing with somebody that, is probably dealing with past traumas or whatever, then even your nice actions to them may not seem as nice as you think they are. Like that, he might think that you're on some shady shit, and he's not going to respond to it in the way you want him to respond to it. And that actually, I think it is called Nice Girls. Or yeah, I think it's called Nice Girls. It's funny. I've seen some funny things on there, but then I've also seen some things that was like, well, that's just what a kind person would do. I don't really think that you necessarily deserve any reciprocation from that. And like I said earlier, like yeah, you're a shoulder to lean on, and a lot of people just, if you're already dealing with people, when you're already going on dates with people, is a man taking women on dates. We already know that we're not entitled to sex afterwards. We already know that we're not entitled to their bodies or whatever, anything afterwards. We're not even entitled to a second date. We could spend $100 on this date and we'll never see this woman again, i.e. Queen and Slim. But and I'm pretty sure he wished.
Can we have this conversation yet?
I'm pretty sure he.
Can we have this conversation?
We haven't had the conversation.
I've been waiting for you to watch Queen and Slim so we can have this conversation. Oh my god.
I mean, I talked to Jamarcus about it, and I think I talked to Darlette. That's her name, right? Darlette?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in the barbershop. So, and I told her, once again, I didn't hate the movie. I think the movie definitely did a decent job of imitating life in a way. Obviously, some parts were exaggerated. I think Lena Waithe has a twisted view of the Black community, because there was some things on there that just had me lost, especially with with Sticky Fingers having the trans girl, the trans man, whatever the fuck that thing was. One of his girls was trans, I think, and that situation was just weird because he's like ex-military and he's a pimp. I didn't get it, but all in all, I just kind of felt like it was some things in that movie that just seemed exaggerated and kind of weird. But long story short, you said at the first 15 minutes there was a conversation that you would want to have. I know for me, once a woman tells me she's not interested, I'm kind of confused about why she was in the car with him. Anyways, what was your thoughts, man?
Okay, my thoughts was like from the jump, she was just like she said, she just wanted some company. That's why she was out there. She had a rough day at work and she just wanted some company. She didn't want to eat alone. And I appreciate her honesty. I really respect that. And so then, but it's like, you're not feeling this dude at all. Like, at all. Like, it just seemed like she was just jugging at this dude, like, attacking his character the whole time. And then he gets pulled over, and she's like, well, what did you do? And he's like, I ain't do shit. And then, she's like, copping, telling him to cop, basically instructing him to cop an attitude with the police. And I understand that her being a lawyer, that, she knowing, her rights super well, that might have played a role in it. But to me, it's kind of like, you might be a lawyer, you may know your rights, but you're still Black. And you got to handle that like Black people handle it. You got to understand that, hey, you got to keep your hands visible. You got to understand, he's probably going to frisk you. And so when he went to it and it's like went through the trunk, I was like, I understood what she was like. No, you got to have a warrant to get into the trunk and do all that other stuff. And he was trying to de-escalate the situation. Like, I know I'm cool. I know, I don't have anything on me. So yeah, I'll go ahead and pop the trunk and let you look it through the shoebox or whatever. So I get her being like, nah, you really need a warrant for that and everything. But at the same time, he was like, nah, let's just get home safe. And then she fucked it all up.
Yeah, that scene was highly irrational. I mean, I feel like if you see somebody is at the cusp of getting their head blown off, and then you're intensifying the situation by yelling out, "I need a badge number," and just being outright obnoxious. I think that's as a lawyer, which she never once in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, like really presented herself as a lawyer. Like I never saw any, like there was nothing about her. Like she didn't even reach out to any contacts. Didn't try to exploit the fact that she was a lawyer. I kind of just feel like if that was if we had a different race in that movie, I think immediately when this happened, I felt like she'd have been calling down to the precinct or calling the judge, like, hey, like, hey, I got a officer harassing my friend right now. Blah blah blah. Should have got his, could have got his license plate number and everything. I feel like that situation could have been de-escalated in a more professional manner if it was actually a lawyer. I felt like she was just acting like a chick from the hood. I think she was just acting like a Twitter female, and
Yeah.
that baffled me. I think that was poorly handled. I mean, that's my interpretation of that scene. But all in all, even everything before that, once again, it's this guy putting himself in the position to be an emotional tampon, and I really throughout the whole movie he annoyed me based on the fact that when he swerved, he was swerving because he got upset because he knew he wasn't getting no ass no more. And it's like, bruh, if you knew that those were your intentions when you first got to the diner, then before you paid for the ticket, before you even got in the car, that should have been established. Because I think as a real man, as a guy that's not being a chameleon himself, trying to act like he's just a nice guy, then in that moment, if he knew he wasn't getting no ass and that's the only reason he came for a Tinder hookup, then he could have just been like, "Hey, you can get yourself an Uber home," because like, what I'm gonna take you home for? Just
And,
straight
and
up,
even with that, it's like he's like, "Oh,
I
I sat in your inbox for like 3 weeks or something like that." It's like, yeah, this is definitely a situation where you're just being used, and you're not even going to be used in the way that you want to be used.
That's mind blowing to me. And like I was telling Darlette, I said one of the things that the takeaways that I hate, the thing that people need to realize from movies is we live in a very impressionable society. Therefore, people see things like this, and no matter how negative this thing is displayed on the screen, people take parts of this movie and they're gonna think that this shit is okay. And I think a lot of people see this movie, if they, depending on how they internalize this movie, they'll think that being shitty to men is okay moving forward because they think, oh, even though I'm shitty to men, over time, this man is gonna see the value in loving me, like you saw, like towards the end of the movie, like they kind of fell for each other. Like, nah, you treat me like shit. It's not gonna take long for me to just block you and cut you off. And like that's real life. And when I see movies like this, I almost feel like they're trying to like project it into men and be like, hey, y'all men need to be more like this. Even though a woman is not interested in you in the beginning, if you just stay there, stick through the brutalization, then eventually she'll come around. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time. Like that's ridiculous. And when it all comes down to it, obviously, Slim is the nice guy, and that's what happens to the nice guy. The nice guy eventually, in a sense, he metaphorically he loses himself because even if this character is really genuinely a nice guy, and he really was on Tinder trying to find the love of his life, like it didn't matter anymore because what ended up happening is he ended up shifting into somebody that he probably didn't even recognize anymore. Like, my nigga, you on the run from the cops. You probably ain't never had a freaking warrant in your life. Never probably even got a speeding ticket before. Now you just put yourself in a situation with somebody that is highly problematic and they made you lose yourself. You compromised who you are to get with somebody that in the beginning never showed any interest in you to begin with.
At all. And then it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way when
women know what they want.
Yeah, it then kind of rubbed me the wrong way when she was like, "Oh, you can't call your parents. You're a fugitive now. You're this. You're that." It's like, you played a role in making me this. Not saying that she made him that because, hey, he didn't have to tackle the cop, fight over the gun, whatever, what have you. Like she could have shot her and he could have just been like, "Damn, that's fucked up." He could just sit there and chill. So both of them made decisions that got them to where they were and eventually to their demise. So I can't single her out and say, she, caused all this to happen to him, but somebody pushed that first domino over.
I'm definitely not singling her out. I'm just saying that her abilities and the things that she was capable to do, it was just weird that the writers. I mean, obviously, I call this cinematic convenience. I do believe that if this was real life and that situation were to go down the way it went down, I'm just baffled at the fact that her being a lawyer was never really expanded upon. Her being a lawyer was almost pointless, and that was wild to me because everything that you needed to see was on that dash cam and the proof was there. At that point, you just need to represent this man. This man is going to jail. That you can't run from that fact. But see, this movie wanted to somewhat portray this black woman as this complicated, deep person. And it was like the whole time you're just sitting there looking at this person. It's like, man, and me, I'm looking at it from this point of view of like, all right, she's this lawyer, she's this professional career woman. Then why is she willing to throw all that away for some guy that she just met? Like, you willing to go to Cuba with some guy that you weren't even interested in? Like, how fucked up are you internally? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's what I'm sitting there looking at the whole time. I'm like, this chick really must hate her life. And in conclusion, I think that just goes to show how much your career really doesn't matter. Everything could be going well for you as far as career, as far as all this other shit, because I'm pretty sure from the outside looking in, whatever social circle she has, and they know she's a lawyer, they look at her like she's a successful lawyer, but she's a successful lawyer, but in an instant, she will throw all this away for a guy that she just met and run to Cuba because she really hates her life.
Basically what it
that's
boiled
the
down
reality
to.
of a lot of women these days.
And you felt that when it was like,
this,
hey, I had to get my uncle off because he killed my mom. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. And once again, they were painting this picture as this deeply disturbed, traumatized, like sort of interesting woman. And once again, like, cool, like y'all showed that very well, but it's like, what's the real message in this? Is the real message that you can, I mean, like we talked about with Mac Miller and a lot of these other, famous people that have lost their lives, is the overall message like, you're trying to find happiness and all this external bullshit, and it's not going to really bring you happiness because this woman was deeply depressed. She was fucked up. She was fucked up in the head, and that's why it's very important to not ignore red flags. She was a walking red flags, man. Like everything about her was a walking red flag, and that's why I put so much blame on the man, and I was annoyed by him because he stayed attached to a situation that showed no positives. That's just ridiculous. And people need to understand that when you do that, it's only going to bring you down in life. It's the same as hanging with a bunch of broke niggas. You hang with a bunch of broke niggas, what's going to happen to you?
You be a broke nigga too.
You hang with somebody that's suicidal, what's going to happen to you?
All right, man.
Just saying. Queen was very, very suicidal. She literally looked that man in the eye. He asked her. He said, "You okay with walking away from your family, just dropping your family at the drop of a hat?" She looked at the guy and was like, "Yeah." At that moment, I'd have been terrified. I'd have been terrified. I'm like, what? What? I got a son at home. I'm sorry. I can't be doing this.
I got up to turn myself in. You wildin'.
Exactly. You come on. Like, that's a huge red flag. And guess what? A lot of us, we purposely ignore a lot of men these days. We tend to ignore red flags because, like Roddy Ricch said, they want the box. And I just these guys dying over the box, man. And it ain't worth it, bro. And these women, they over here, trying to get the bologna sandwich. And hey, man, it's not worth it, mama. Like, it's just either get off the carousel in time where you know that these men are going to value you, or just you stay on the carousel until you drop dead. I mean, I don't know, man, but trust me, the way people living their lives right now, it's a bunch of Queen and Slims out there, metaphorically. But I've talked enough, and I know people hate hearing me talk. I'm pretty sure Jake Speaks is gonna do numbers because they could be like, "Ooh, well, ain't on here." Man.
Relax. I just had a hot take. That's all, and I just put it out there. That's it.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, my only response to yours is the reason I'm always gonna be like kind of at beef with like people like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and just everybody, all these famous people that speak out on things that us common folk have to deal with. It's like I said, us common folk, like we don't live in these gated communities. We don't live on these mountaintops and away from, reality. Yes, I understand that they were once regular people too, but they're not anymore. And a lot of their positions that they take, it's hard for me to really believe that they're taking those positions because people a lot of times you think if I was a billionaire that I wouldn't buy LeBron James's opinion? Like I would pay LeBron James to share my opinion. And when I hear these people talk, a lot of times I'm always suspect. I just kind of feel like somebody's probably paying them to think this way because their life is already set. So they can vote however the fuck they want. Because when it all comes down to it, shit, if some bullshit pop off in America, where they gonna go? They flee to Canada, be in Australia. They could do those things. Once again, I'm not taking away from the fact that these guys can't be knowledgeable. I just always feel like a lot of the shit they say is suspect because I don't know how genuine it is. That's just my opinion. But yeah, all in all, man, Jay Speaks was nice. I'm pretty sure that the streets will need some more Jay Speaks moving forward.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That words of advice, man.
Of course, I always got words of advice. My words of advice for this episode would simply be recognize when you're being used. Just to piggyback off of Jay Speaks, just recognize when you're being used and decide. You got to personally decide if you're okay with it, because some people will be used, some people sign up to be used, and recognize if you're okay with being used. And if you're not, then change it. Have the belief and the strength within yourself, the self-respect, really, that if you don't want to be used, then to cut it off, to stop it.
Okay. Once again, easier said than done.
Very true.
Easier said than done. I don't have any words of advice, but I did have a statistic that was kind of boggling my mind all week, and it comes in the wake of Boosie begging Dwayne Wade to make sure his child doesn't chop the penis off, and this and then he got banned for Planet Fitness. Man, Boosie wild, man. But I was reading this article about violence against the transgender community, violence in the transgender community, and I remember I think Kamala Harris and Cory Booker talking about this being a big deal. Like, violence in the transgender community is, it's a problem. And I think in 2019 and 2018 combined, I think there was like 60 or 70 deaths, and it was aimed at Black trans. And I think it was mostly trans women, and there's a few of them that didn't conform. And my question to society is, if 30 deaths in the transgender community is like an epidemic and is something to be worried about, I question the fact that then why are we trying to constantly encourage our children to do this? Then why do we want our kids to be transgender if we're pushing them into a lifestyle that is fatal? Does it seem like if they consider 30 people dying in the transgender community, Black transgenders dying in the community as being a problem, then why are we supporting this? Why are we pushing our kids to do this? Like what is the end all goal? Do we think that, do we not look at our kids as martyrs? Because us society conforming to the transgender identity and not harming them is gonna still take a while. So, like, are we just pushing our children to be martyrs? And also, I'd like to say, RIP to Pop Smoke. I like to say that if that's an epidemic in the Black trans community, then I think we need to look back in the last year or two and look at the fact that we've had a lot of deaths in the rap community, and what are we doing to address that? Because if that's an epidemic, then what are all these deaths in the Black community? Is that something that just be ignored because these are regular Black males? Like, make it make sense. I just feel like all this virtue signaling that's going on needs to be questioned, and I don't think that. I think that if we actually sat down and talked, we may get somewhere. But then again, people are just real comfortable sitting on their high horses. I know I said a lot, but still.
I knew Deep Thought was gonna get in his bag before it was over with. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
It's just a thought. But no, real shit though, man. Just I know people got, if you got feedback, let me know something, because I think we got a lot of problems going on in the Black community, and we talk about what we want to talk about. But once again, RIP Pop Smoke, RIP Deontay Wilder, and with that being said, No, I'm fucking around. I like Deontay. He gonna win the next one. I ain't tripping. I can't beat him up. So
I can't beat him up either.
so with that being
had to hit him with
said,
that thing
real quick.
real quick. This has been the No Boundaries Podcast. Thank you for listening.
But ever since the dawn of civilization, people have craved for an understanding of the underlying order of the world. There ought to be something very special about the boundary conditions of the universe. And what can be more special than that there is no boundary?